Good morning, everyone. Virgo Triad here. It is December 4th, 2019. Happy Wednesday to everyone. Today I'm going to be going over a video that is basically a reactionary video. Okay, it's going to be my reaction to the things that LaJune is lying about. April can't get through a video without telling at least 100 lies that I've ever seen. She has whoppers in this one, right down to the point that she tries to claim that you can actually fill out a UCC1 statement on your own children in order to claim them. It's absolutely insane and incredible, and I just can't let this one go. LaJune is a fraudster. She is 100% a con artist. She's conned people all the way back to 2010 that I am aware of, off of eBay, where her kids came on my channel and actually let me know that they needed for others to be aware that April's been conning and scamming people her entire life. Those particular videos are on the LaJune fraud playlist that is on my homepage in the playlist. For those of you considering sending your hard-earned money to LaJune or even taking one of her seminars, you really should take a look at that playlist first. There are many people that have come forward that she sold her secured party creditor packages to back in 2017 and 2018 that have come forward on the Virgo Triad channel and let everyone know that they were scammed. Many of them were fined by the IRS at $5,000 a whack. There are people that had notified me of other scams that she was running, including the eBay scam, which is about LaJune purchasing an entire setup for taking high quality pictures off of the internet and actually making copies of them and falsifying the signature and certificate of authenticity herself, and then selling them for hundreds of dollars on eBay. According to her own children, she actually sold well over $100,000 worth of these falsified celebrity photos on eBay. So we have that scenario. We have other scenarios where people have come forward and claimed that she has put out advertisements online to do people's websites for them and will take the deposit and never actually do the work. These are things you can easily find if you simply search LaJune fraud and go through the first 5 or 6 pages. The first page is going to have a lot of information pertaining to videos that I've done because I've tried to notify people of the scam artist that this person is. But if you continue to go through the pages on Google, searching LaJune fraud, you're going to find that there are people that have complained about the website deal. You're going to find that there are people that have made statements with regards to them being scammed on the secured party creditor packages that she has sold. There are videos right there in the playlist from her own customers. So I would caution those of you that are following April now, and as much as you might want to believe the bogus crap she's telling you, it's all lies. I'm going to go ahead and go through many parts of this video, and I am going to actually stop and correct all of the different lies that LaJune makes in here. So bear with me. This video is an hour long, and I will be going through several sections of it in order to correct and debunk what April is saying. I'm hoping that this will be a good update, as April originally had started this scam back in 2017, November of 2017. She went through it heavily for a little over a year, got booted off of YouTube for 3 months, had a lot of people really angry with her. She was at one point making over $30,000 a month scamming people with the same scam. that after stopping for several months, she has now come back to, I guess, to April. The money is just too good to stop. There is absolutely not one single person that has been able to provide any proof of any sort in the last 40 years that this scam has been going on, that any of what is being said is true. However, there is information that I can show you that proves that the things that April is saying here are actually false. So you have to keep in mind that as badly as you might want secret squirrel accounts to be true, they just simply aren't. And April knows virtually nothing about business in reality. What April knows how to do best is hustle and scam. She's been doing it her whole life, and there's proof of that all over the internet. All right, everyone, here we go. Here is April LaJune.
Carol Wilcox is in the room. Crystal, Andrew, nice to see you guys. We're just going to wait just a few seconds for a few more to come in. Cheryl, nice to see you. Hello from the Villages. I don't know where that is, but nice to see you. So there is a way that you can clean up your credit, actually. You don't have to be a secured party creditor, but it's easier. And the reason I'm saying that is because there's an executor letter, which gives you the authority to be over the trust which you're over as a secured party creditor. When you're
All right, everyone, just so that you're aware, there is no trust. And even if there was a trust, to be perfectly honest with you, a UCC1 would actually not help you in any way, shape, or form with your credit. You see, before we go any further with this, let me explain. A UCC1, and this is easily looked up on any of the Uniform Commercial Code state sites in all 50 states across the nation, a UCC1 is simply used for the process of claiming something that is secured to you as a lender when you loan money to someone who requests it. So an example of that would be you go down to the car lot to buy a car, the bank loans you money. When the bank loans you money on that vehicle, the bank then puts a UCC financial statement up as a notice letting everybody know that, hey, I'm the first lien holder on this car. If the person defaults that purchased the car and asked for the loan on that particular loan, then the person who holds the lien, meaning the bank, is able to actually go back and recoup as much of their losses as possible by repossessing the property. That UCC1 is what shows them to be the first lien holder on that property, meaning it cannot be sold to anybody else, and no other finance company can come in and take it above and beyond the first lien holder. That is it. That is all. So being a secured party creditor, number one, is not a permanent thing. It's a temporary thing. Number two, it has nothing to do with anything that April is talking about here. But I digress. Let's listen a little further.
You're over a trust. It's like being the CEO of a company. All right. When you're the CEO of a company, then you're the one who's in charge, and you're the one who calls the shots, and you're the one who tells something to do something, right? Teach you something new, says Catherine. Hey, Alan, nice to see you too. Teresa, nice to see you. White Rabbit, hooray. Brandy's in the room, so that's awesome. What's interesting about this stuff is it's all about commerce, business, and that kind of thing. Sandy is from Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania. Nice to see.
Really, April? Business, commerce, and that kind of thing. You know, I'd brush up a little bit on your professionalism if you're actually planning to do these seminars, because what you just said sounds really ridiculous. You sound like you have no education whatsoever when it comes to business. And I happen to know that's actually true. As many businesses as you've owned, I doubt very seriously that you know anything about what being a secured party creditor is really about, even though for the last 3 years you've been claiming that you're an expert on the UCC.
See you, Michelle. She's from Minnesota. Hello, New Jersey. Ruth. Thank you. You're the only one that actually knows what you're talking about. Well, I try.
You don't try very hard, April, because just about every person who's come over to the Virgo Triad channel that has put in complaints with regards to your earlier packages that you sold back in 2017 and 2018 has gotten some form of letter as a threat, and a good portion of them also received fees and fines from the IRS by filing A for Vs that you clearly have no idea what you're doing at all.
Now, this is a process. Hey, it's nice to see Sharon. What is interesting about this, I have a meeting, I'm going to have to watch the replay in an hour. Okay, well, we'll see you a little bit later. The secured party creditor. You can become a secured party creditor, but it doesn't really do any good if you don't have a private security agreement. The reason is because you have to claim all that stuff. When you are a...
Listen to the way she's speaking. Does this actually sound like someone who knows what they're talking about? First of all, you need a security agreement that two living blood individuals have agreed upon and signed and listed what it is that you are using as collateral for a loan. One party must 100% be a lender and have proof that they have lent you money. The second party is the person accepting the funds that they requested and must have proof that they requested the funds and then received them. Otherwise, that filing is considered frivolous and in some states, even against the law.
A business person, okay? And you've done business, then it's a little easier for you to understand how business works. Business is driven by paper, and paper in a legal notice drives what can be done and what cannot be done. So what they do, hey Patty, nice to see you. Haven't seen you in a bit. Aaron's from Nebraska. Nice to see you too. You have a bunch of trolls hitting you. My last Facebook video, who cares? We'll get them off later. But they just expose themselves as disgusting people.
They just expose themselves as disgusting people. You sit here and lie your ass off to everyone on a daily basis. You tell them things that will get them criminally charged with fraud, and you have the audacity, as the con artist that a lot of people already know you are, to say that the so-called trolls who are trying to warn other people about your cons are the disgusting ones. Yeah. This, ladies and gentlemen, is an absolute piece of garbage.
Just saying. If you get time, maybe future video, can you talk about United States bankruptcy in 1999? I don't know. Maybe. I'll write it down.
It's absolutely hilarious to me that this woman knows absolutely nothing about the history of our country either. Even though she claims to be an authority on the subject, the reality is there is no bankruptcy. I suggest those of you that are following April LaJune pop up this question. April, find the bankruptcy case. There isn't one. There's no bankruptcy case because the country never filed bankruptcy. The country is also not a corporation. And regardless of all of that, April isn't smart enough to find her way out of a paper bag, let alone care about doing research about whether or not the country actually ever did file bankruptcy. She's too busy watching YouTube videos to figure out how she's going to use this scam to rake in more money. She really misses that $30,000 a month, and she's been trying to get back to it ever since she got thrown off of YouTube back in March.
1999 U.S. bankruptcy. Well, it's been bankrupt even before that. But anyway. So what's interesting about this is they put it in place. Now, when you give legal notice to somebody and you put it in a public setting and it's not challenged, then it becomes the law governing the contract that you have between two things, okay? Because they don't challenge that. And the Uniform Commercial Code, which is the UCC, is in every state. However, the biggie is in New York.
Total bullshit. No Uniform Commercial Code office is any bigger than the other. And as a matter of fact, they all slightly have different regulations. Every state has a little bit different regulation than another state. The UCC is looked at as exactly the same for all 50 states in the entire country. And there is not one that's bigger than another, and none of them are federal law, as April has tried in the past to make people believe.
Which is where commerce starts. Commerce is money, the buying and selling of goods and services and that kind of stuff. Commerce, look it up. All right. So in a business transaction, when you have an agreement between two entities that isn't challenged, it becomes the contract between the two entities that'll stand in a court of law.
Bullshit. What she's referring to is the Fair Debt Practices. And that has to do with collection accounts. It has absolutely nothing to do with every single contract out there.
Okay, and a court of law is the jurisdiction that the corporation is under. Okay, so for example, and I've used this example many times, if you go get a job and you have a contract on your job, because like teachers have contracts, news people have contracts, upper echelon people have contracts. Now they're even starting to do contracts for anybody who's got minimum wage or whatever, so that certain rules are adhered to when you are doing that, okay? When you have a contract between two people or two entities, a company, because a company really can't do business without people making it function, right? The trust part of the SPC process confuses me, having to create another trust. You're not creating another trust.
She just said absolutely nothing with that whole statement about works having contracts and all that. That didn't prove anything. Just complete and total word salad, which, by the way, is the majority, I would say 99%, of April LaJune's videos. And if you pay close attention, she really revs home what she wants you to pay attention to, and the rest of it is her speaking in circles.
Trust, you're taking over the one that's already there. I don't know why they make it so confusing, but there's already one there.
No, wrong. There is no trust there. And no one's ever been able to prove that there is a trust there because there isn't one. April likes to try to tell people that not only is there a trust there, but your birth certificate and social security card are monetized. She completely ignores the fact that anything that's traded on the stock market, as she claims these items are, would have a ticker symbol. I've asked many times on videos directed at April LaJune, provide the ticker symbol for your personal name, April, and I'll shut the hell up. But I never get a response. I wonder why.
You're just taking it over. Now you have made claim. It's like, okay, let's say that you live somewhere, or let's say, this is even better. Let's say that there is a piece of property that you didn't know you owned, okay? And in order to claim that piece of property, you have to actually stake a claim. Do you remember there was a movie and it had Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, and they came over from Europe and they were running across the field. They were going to go get the land. Remember? What was the name of that movie? Anyways.
The name of that movie is Far and Away, folks. And what time frame was that set in? Jesus criminy, April, really? So I guess laws have not advanced since then at all when it comes to commerce, right? We can still go out and stick a flag in property and just claim it as ours? You're so full of crap.
So they're running across this land. They gave them flags, and they had to run out and stake their claim. Okay, and once they stuck that flag in that piece of property became theirs, and then they would come back out far and away. That's right. It's called far and away. And they would stake that claim. You're basically doing the same thing. You are staking the claim of something that's already there.
No, there is nothing there, and you're not staking a claim. If you do any of what April suggests in her paperwork, in her seminar, or here online, you will find that what you're doing is called fraud.
And now, when you file the secured party creditor paper and the private security agreement, no, not Sooners, far and away. That was not on Facebook. When you stake your claim, they already know that it's there, okay? They're just waiting for you to stake your claim.
They're just waiting for you to commit fraud so that they can come and arrest you. Oh, that's after they warn you 3 times in a row and then start fining you for filing frivolous documentation, both at the Secretary of State's office or the deed of claims, where you would file in your state a UCC1 or an actual lien, or at the Treasury, where you would file the A for V that April claims you can file. All of this, fraud.
I'm hoping you never do, because if you don't, then they own it. It'd be like if there was a tract of land out there and far and away and somebody didn't want it, then who still owns it? The government does.
Wrong. It does not work that way. When there's unclaimed property, the government doesn't get to keep it. What happens to that unclaimed property? It goes to the state comptroller. The state comptroller is required to list it. This is the reason why we see websites called unclaimed property, because it searches a bunch of states that you have lived in for property that would belong to you. And that's everything from something that you have actually consigned with a financial company and you've actually paid for and never received, or refund checks that you didn't receive from either the government or companies. See, there's a check and balance in everything. That's what commerce is, April. And the government doesn't just get to keep things. No, the check and balance works. And how it works is by the comptroller keeping track of everything in their state. They are required to list anything that comes from a company that belongs to you, whether it's government or not, but definitely if it's government.
Okay. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're staking your claim as something that's already there. You can never get rid of it. Some people think, well, I'm going to get my billions.
Really? You can never get rid of it? But didn't you just get through saying or making the claim that the government gets to keep it? If you can never get rid of it, then the government isn't able to use it because it belongs to you. I mean, the double talk that comes out of both sides of your mouth is absolutely hideous, and you sound like what you claim everybody else to be, a moron.
Well, that doesn't work that way, okay? It's not like that. Hey, thanks, Alan. I try to think of things that people can actually think of when I'm talking so they can visualize it in their head, because it's easier when you can actually visualize it.
No, actually, what you do is you try to provide as much disinformation and chaotic speech as you possibly can to those that you use and prey on as people that you see less intelligent. And that is disgusting. April has a history of defrauding people that are handicapped and disabled. And there's proof of that on the playlist that's on my channel.
So this has already been made for you. You just have to stake your claim. You do that by the secured party creditor. When you become a secured party creditor and you stake your claim and you make a private security agreement, then you are staking your claim on that thing. that's already created for you. They can't tell you that it's not you because they already did it with your social security number and your name.
None of that is true. There are no secret squirrel accounts. There are no trusts, and none of what is being suggested here is true. The only account that you have that the government actually holds that you have not opened yourself is your Social Security account. There's no secret about that. You pay into it with every single paycheck. You are a liar, April.
They would have to actually come back and prove that it's not you. Yeah, I have done a lot of research on this particular subject because I think it's weird. Okay, but it certainly explains a whole bunch of stuff. Hey, Connie, nice to see you.
It explains a whole bunch of stuff, really, but you don't hear her talking about the stuff that it explains. And the majority of her facts are completely incorrect, such as the unclaimed money thing. Her claim that the government can just keep it if you don't claim it is a bunch of BS. It sits and waits. In whatever comptroller's office that you or that the state is that you would have something that you didn't collect. Anything from a $5 refund check from your phone company all the way up to a $20,000 or more tax refund. But these trust accounts, they don't exist. But I'll tell you what, if they did exist, a trust account would absolutely not be something that the government could keep, because trust accounts have very, very specific regulations placed on them.
Say hi to Fred for me. When you stake that claim and you stake this and you put the private security agreement, those two things really have to be done. All right. Hey, I see you're over there on Facebook, Christopher. He's on Facebook and YouTube.
Just so that you guys know, the whole reason behind the security agreement is because the UCC offices have gotten wise to people like LaJune. They will no longer accept actual UCC ones the majority of the time unless they're filed with all the appropriate documentation that goes along with it, meaning your actual statement has to be filled out, and in addition to the statement and paperwork being filled out that they provide for you, you have to have a security agreement in addition. Later on, April's going to go around talking about something called a subrogation bond, which doesn't exist. Subrogation actually means that a party that is representing you, your interest, on something that's owed to you is working on your behalf. So here's an example of it. When you actually get into an accident, your insurance company will offer to subrogate for you if you need funding right away for medical purposes, for example, or to buy a new car. So let's say that you get into an accident and the person who hit you has provided their insurance information, but the insurance company is taking a long time to pay you. So you can go through your own actual personal insurance for your automobile, and they will provide you with an amount that they will fight for from the other insurance company so that you can get your medical treatment or your new vehicle right away. That part of them fighting for you is called subrogation. What April is talking about doesn't actually exist. There is nothing called a subrogation bond. I love the way that she has scoured through, this is her research, scoured through YouTube and watched videos from people like Winston Shrout, by the way, in prison, and Roger Elvick, by the way, died in prison, and Tex Mason, by the way, has sent several people to prison, and Heather Ann Tucci, who's, by the way, in prison, Harvey Dent, who has had many people go to jail behind following him, including Heather Antucci and Randall Keith Bean and Marvin. Well, we won't even go there. I don't even want to go into Marvin's scenario. This is what April considers research. Instead of actually looking up subrogation so that she can determine what it really is, she actually just spits out whatever she's hearing on another YouTube video from another Sovsit. Disgusting.
Which is great. So you don't have to have a trust declaration. Well, that is your trust declaration, because on page 2, okay, so when you do the secured party creditor thing, all right, there are more than one page. You've got to use the second page attached to the first page, because the initial filing has collateral in it and all that stuff, but the second page is where you can check trust and you check transmitting utility. Okay, it's not on the first page.
Check out her statement about what transmitting utility is. You'll love this.
You literally have to check it on the second page, and I think they do that on purpose just to confuse you. Money to the right of chat bar is missing. Yes, because they don't allow me. They do not allow me any super chat anymore.
Because you're a scammer.
Yes. So if you want to donate to my show, you have to actually do it through Google Pay, which I think is hilarious, by the way. Because, see, Google owns YouTube. So they take away your ability to do the super chat, but yet you can actually, and by the way, super chat, they take like, I don't know, 10, 15%, whatever. They take some percentage out of it. But Google also owns Google Pay. And when you do a donation through Google Pay, I get all of it. So it doesn't even make any sense.
It makes perfect sense. YouTube knows that you're scamming, so they're not going to let you do it on that platform. And as soon as Google becomes aware through various complaints, just like YouTube did, that you're once again scamming and now using the Google Pay platform, they'll cut you off too. Don't worry.
You can't get enough of the SBC talks? Well, that's true. I mean, the more you listen, the more you learn. Or send a money order or a check. Yeah, that's true. You can do that. Is there a document you're talking about? What's the second page? Yes. The first is there's a UCC finance statement. All right. Now, if you're going to file in New York, which I recommend, then you would go to the New York. You have to download the.
Hold on, folks. Just so that you're aware, the reason that April wants you to go to New York is because they have looser filing standards online. That is the reason that she wants you to go through New York. See, New York hasn't yet caught up to many of the other states like Colorado and Arizona and several other ones that are now calling it against the law and a criminal offense for you to file fraudulent and frivolous UCC finance statements like April's trying to get you to do.
New York form. It's the UCC 1A is correct. Okay? Well, the UCC 1 and the UCC, well, I think it might be A, but UCC 1AD. So it's UCC 1 is the initial filing statement. Okay? That's the financial statement that you're filing, the very first page. Okay? The addendum, you have to file it too, because you check that and you say transmitting utility, because a transmitting utility is something that energy is
Here we go, guys. Listen to what the transmitting utility is.
Transmitted through. Okay? So you're a transmitting utility because without you, the thing doesn't function, okay? So the energy to make the trust that they've created run comes from you, okay? without you being the transmitter of the energy to the thing itself, which is the corporate entity. It doesn't work. For example,
Okay, guys, just I can't stand it anymore. Just so that you know, if you want to check it out, UCC 9-105 means, with regards to definitions of transmitting utility, it actually means any person primarily engaged in the transmission of goods by pipeline to send or transfer from one person or place to another or to communicate. So basically, that's all that it means, to communicate. Her definition is wild, and I do not know why she used it. I don't even care. April is full of nothing but bullshit, and her word salad becomes extremely irritating, especially when you know the real facts behind what the UCC code is and really does. And everything that April is proposing here is hideous, ridiculous, and silly.
somebody, we're not talking about Hunter Biden, but thanks. Somebody filed a paper to create the entity we know as Walmart. But that's only a something on a piece of paper.
Yeah, they're called articles of incorporation for a profit corporation. Unlike what you are talking about here, it has nothing to do with what you're talking about. But April has to find things in order to fill up her hour. And I'm going to give you a little bit more information with regards to the rest of what's in this video so that you don't have to suffer the way that I did watching it. April's about to go on and talk to you all about the fact that you can put your children's birth certificate as claimed on your UCC form so that way, because they're yours, so that way, when Child Protective Services comes to your home, they can't do anything. You can tell them to get the hell out because you filed claims on your children. And she's also about to inform you that if a company files a lien against you, you can turn around and you can file a lien back against that company. Fraud, 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 and more fraud. By the way, you cannot put your children on a financing statement through the UCC as though you're the first lien holder. You can't do it. It wouldn't be recognized in court. Not that any of the stuff she's got on here would be recognized in court. But a living, breathing human being is not something that people are going to say, yeah, that's okay. You go right ahead there, April. Listen, guys. I don't want to bore you any longer with the bullshit that's here on April's video because that's all that it is bullshit. But I do want you to be aware that if you do what April is suggesting, you're going to find yourself in a great deal of trouble. And the fact that April is starting seminars right after finding out that Winston Shrout was actually captured after being a fugitive of justice just last month for doing exactly what she's doing now, and now she's going to start seminars, which is exactly what Winston did. It's unbelievable. The woman believes that she's untouchable. But you know what? You go for it, April. Because I, for one, have been watching you long enough and have consoled enough of the people that you have scammed and tried to help them get their lives back together after all the damage that you have done, that I can't wait to report on the imprisonment of you. And with your lovely seminars, that's what you're headed for. So you go ahead, April. Have a great time doing it. And I'll just sit back here and watch as your house of cards comes tumbling down around you yet again. All right, everyone, this is just kind of a taste of the dribble that this person promotes and pushes on a regular basis. If you want to know more about Miss LaJune and the scams that she has pulled her entire life, her ex-employees, her children, and many of the customers that first purchased her package for being a secured party creditor back in 2017 and 2018 are in my playlist that I will list in the description of this video. All right, everyone, take care and watch it out there. Sometimes the people that you least would expect that would scam you are the ones that are the worst. And by the way, April is now once again charging $995 to fill out your paperwork for you.